I'm here with Johnny Bradley, a legend in the space, OG YouTuber, OG Amazon person, OG e-commerce person. And really today I wanted to speak about his journey on Amazon and how he's seeing the e-commerce space in general. How are you doing, Johnny?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share a lot. I actually haven't spoken a lot about what I've been doing over the past year or so I'm excited to share the whole entire thing with you and your viewers as well.
That's great. I mean, I want to start at the beginning, right? When did you start in the e-commerce space?
So, 2017 is when I officially got my feet wet. I was working in a recruitment job. Like, it's a story like so many other people's. It's just through this desperate desire to not have to basically get on the train for 2-3 hours a day. Um, I then started looking into how to make money online. I saw like social media marketing, like there was still Bitcoin was doing stuff at the time. But the thing that I guess found my way to most was like building a product. So I did that back in the day. 2017 was a different kind of Amazon. It was, very much like you could kind of throw a lot at the wall and it would stick. Whereas now, it's not so much like that, which I think is a good thing, by the way. And from there, like I started documenting everything I was doing, because I'm not sure if you remember back then, if you wanted to learn this stuff in the UK at least, you were learning from people in the States.
In the States, yeah, correct.
And there's nuance, there's difference when, just in customs duty, VAT, it's just differences. And in the UK, on even Seller Central, we don't have all the tools that someone in the US has as well. So I started just documenting what I was doing, not educating in any way, shape, or form, just going, oh, I've made my first sale. Like, this, isn't this crazy? And then from that, there was a lot of people in the UK that also were trying to go on this journey. So I asked questions. And the thing about me is when I don't know the answer, I really have to, for some reason, know it and figure it out. Yeah. So in the space of like a year or so, my knowledge level went from nothing to not an expert by any means, but a lot higher than it would have been just by myself. Yeah. And kind of extrapolate that out over a few years, it led to doing a lot of stuff on Amazon, crowdsourcing basically what worked and definitely what didn't work. Yeah. A lot of what didn't work, and that formed the academy that I started, and all the work that I've done with Amazon in the past as well. That all kind of stemmed from just me going, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's figure this out together.
And did you start with private label right away, or were you doing wholesale? Or
yeah, dude, I didn't have the time to do wholesale or the space or to do retail arbitrage. It wasn't for me. So I started off, and at a stretch, you could call it private label. It was, you know what I mean? It was not really what I would consider it to be now.
It was 2017 private label.
Yeah, exactly. It was like stick something on it and sell it, basically.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things have changed since 2017. I mean, that was years before the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, I mean, TikTok didn't even exist. It was years before TikTok even came out. What was the biggest success you had with Amazon, would you say? What years was that? Because it wasn't the first year, I imagine. It was just later on, then down the path.
No, but I've had some good runs. So, for example, the second product I launched became a bestseller. It wasn't bestseller for the whole entire time, but that was, this is quite a few years ago. So this would have been probably 2018, maybe. Yeah. And that started to just do really, really well. And obviously when that happens, it was just like in stock, out of stock, in stock, out of stock. And it was always a battle. So I guess I was fairly lucky in that sense, because maybe it was because one of the best sellers went out of stock, and that allowed me to kind of rise up the ranks. And then I think it was more recently into the 2020s, I stumbled on a slightly different way of launching products, whereby we could get something to a bestseller within a matter of days. And that, like, for example, I can't remember exactly when this was. The last few years have been a bit of a blur, but we launched a product in December. It was like a £15 product. Yep. In the first month, we did 44,000 in sales. Wow. Yep. With no reviews.
That's a good launch.
Yeah, a crazy launch, right? So there's been different levels of successes, a ton of fuck ups, of mistakes. I think that's just the Amazon game, isn't it? It's very much like sometimes you hit a winner, sometimes you hit a loser.
Yeah, I think that's the business game in general. It's more losses than wins, that's for sure. And
I mean, every day there's some sort of mistake that's being made. Yeah, definitely.
How so you started 2017, now in 2025, what are you seeing difference wise just in Amazon? What are you seeing? Because I'll tell you what I see personally, because
Yeah.
of course cost per click fees are up, but what I'm seeing now that's very strange is that it's much bigger as a marketplace, right? Now a bestseller sells a lot more than 2017. Like it's a lot bigger. Like bestsellers now doing a couple of million a month, even in the UK space, let alone in the United States space. It's harder in some parts. Amazon is much stricter, but it's kind of less competition in a certain way because a lot of people left Amazon, went to TikTok, Shopify, so on and so forth. But I'm not sure if you're seeing the same.
Yeah, I think I've seen the writing on the walls for this for quite a few years now. I've been like, I was talking about, and some people thought this was really weird at the time. I was like, your first image is basically your entire business.
Yeah,
Like, if you don't nail your first image, like it's 80% of the reason why you're successful. And some people be like, no, it's like the features, it's your copy. And I'm like, it's just, can you stand out?
nobody reads on Amazon.
Exactly. I don't read. I just look at the picture. And I was talking about this probably 2019, 2020 or so. And my whole strategy was do one product, but just really do it well. Like
Yeah,
really work on your images, because a lot of people at that moment in time would just go on Fiverr, they go on Upwork and put any old nonsense together and just copy everyone else's. And I'm saying that's not how you should do it. Now, in the past couple of years, we've had companies like Product Pinion come along, which have made this process
yeah,
so much better to validate and test your like main image before
yeah.
you ever launch.
True.
And to be honest, I wish I had that tool back in the day, because I would screenshot the Amazon search results, like Photoshop in up like my image, and then send it to a group chat and send it to a bunch of friends saying which one would you click on. And that was my like market research. I was like, oh, damn, I wish I came up with like this tool myself.
Right.
So I think the game of Amazon, which is obviously the game of all social media, it's the game of all e-commerce, is like get attention. How do you get attention? It's a limited resource anyway. And I think that is how you're going to stand out, not just as a seller, but as a brand, in your advertising, in your organic rankings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, how do I get someone to even look at the damn thing first? And then you can be fancy with your SEO, and you can be fancy with the rest of your images and your deals and your Rufus stuff. But I think like that is the future of all e-commerce, and particularly on Amazon, it's so critical because you're competing still against hundreds, sometimes
Yeah,
thousands of other people, and you just hope that they do it worse than you. Like, I just want to be a little bit better than them, and then that little incremental difference can be the difference between your PPC is profitable or your PPC is unprofitable.
I agree. No, everything you're saying, I agree. I think that the longer you stay in the space and the more you understand the game, you understand there's like very few things that make a huge difference. It's not like 25 different details, it's getting the basics right. I mean, so I see so many brands to really push PPC, but then everything else is a mess and they're just not going to convert. And I'm sure you've seen the same. And I'm sure when you launched the academy, your skills really went up because then you were getting a lot of data, a lot of people. Some people do better, some people do worse.
Every day, yeah. I could look at something straight away and just know if it would do well or not. Like, I mean, maybe that's a gut feeling, maybe it's experience, maybe it's just me being stupid. I don't know. You could tell very quickly this is going to work, this is not going to work, and it's just the feeling of how much intention has gone into it. You know, that product that we launched that did 44,000 in sales in month one with like no reviews. That was obviously an anomaly. That doesn't happen all the time, right? Especially in the UK market. I was really trying to analyze, like, why did that work? Like, what made that? The conversion rate was 30%, 30%.
Wow.
It's crazy. I was like, for ages, like, why did this work? Why did this work? And I think we got it down to two things. Obviously, the first image was a lot better than everyone else's, and it was capturing attention. Obviously, we had a high click-through rate, but it was the second image. This is the thing that made a difference, because it answered the customer's burning question. Basically, does it work? Right? So people are asking, does it work? And we literally did an image that showed the before and after and said, does it work? Yes. It was that simple. Does it work? Question mark.
Yeah.
Yes. Showing the before and after. We tried the before and after without the does it work? Yes. It didn't work as well. So calling out that customer concern, or calling out what is that customer thinking, we were like, okay, that's the reason why that did well. We then thought, let's put that into other products. So we did it with another product, which was relevant, it would make sense. And the conversion rate went up by 10%, not a 10% increase. It went up like from whatever it was, 15% to 25%.
It made it incredibly profitable.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, I've struck this magic. Like, oh my God, don't tell anyone. I've struck this magic thing. And then I did it with another product, it did nothing. And then did it with another one, it did nothing. So it
Well, the
was just
product
kind
is very important as well, right? I mean, you can
of,
have the
yeah,
best main image, but if the product doesn't follow through, reviews will go down. You're just not going to get the same. So,
precisely.
Element 5, what number of private label was it? Like, how many products did you launch before that?
I don't even know. I'm not sure.
Now, a
It's
lot,
not
right?
like, not like 50 or 100 or anything like that. But it's probably anywhere between like 15, something like that. So it's not a huge number.
But this is probably the most successful brand you've done, would you say?
In this space of time, yes. Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
I think it shows that being in the game for a long time makes a big difference. It doesn't. It
Yeah,
For some people it happens overnight, but it's very difficult to keep that.
yeah. I mean, the astounding thing was how fast it was. That was the big thing. So to run this back a little bit, we have to go back to the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
So basically I had a tragedy at the beginning of last year, a family tragedy. My brother passed away unexpectedly, very very tragic. Yeah, thank you. And it obviously, if anyone's ever had something like that happen to them, you just reevaluate things. I was working on some of these products and projects that I didn't really care about.
Mhm.
Like if it's a kid's like toy something or other, like, oh, I did this bath stuff. I didn't care,
Yeah.
right? They were products that were there to serve a purpose, make money, be a business opportunity, but I didn't care about them. And that's how, a lot of the products that I've done in the past have been. There's been an opportunity. I've seen a way to stand out. Just
Yeah.
take advantage of the opportunity, right? So I just decided, one, because my mind was completely elsewhere. At the same time, my girlfriend and partner, we just had a baby that's 3 months old.
Oh, congrats.
She was like super ill after the baby. So everything, like my whole entire life, was
Mess.
literally just falling apart. It was a mess, and all the things that like I thought that mattered didn't matter anymore. Right. So the business, the goals, obviously, just not important at that point. So it just gave me a realization. This is the first time anything like that's happened in my life. I was like, look, I'm spending this time on these things. I don't get value from them other
Yeah.
than maybe it makes some money.
Monetary. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's really not what I value as a person. So I just decided to sunset those opportunities, and sunset those projects. And some people have said to me, why didn't you like sell them, or you've got intellectual property? I was like, yeah, but that's spending more time on it.
A
And
lot more time. A lot more
huge.
time.
Yeah, I mean, selling something is like one of the most stressful things you can do.
Yeah. I mean, it
Other
might
than
take 2 years to sell something, a year, 6 months, due diligence. It's the
crazy.
opposite. And you're not, and if the brand is not big, you're going to make some money, but it's not going to be like life
Oh,
changing amounts that it's really not worth it if you want to just get out of it.
yeah, exactly. So I just made a decision with my business partner we were working on, and we're like, let's just get rid of them and focus on myself basically.
Yeah.
And at the same time, this is really crazy. My business partner's brother had a terrible accident. He had a brain surgery. I mean, it really was like a clusterfuck of everything happening at once. So
And this
there's
is what,
obviously
2024?
yes, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, it was crazy. So that time gave me this, like, it gave me time to think about, what do I want? I like building brands. I wanted to do something that was more close to my heart. I've always been interested in the health optimization space within supplements.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of entrepreneurs in the private label space, they want to get into supplements, but it's like a high barrier to entry. It can be really hard. There's a ton of compliance. It's a shady place as well. So I thought, you know what? I do actually want to do that, because it's something that I pay a lot of money for this stuff anyway. Wouldn't it be great to be able to at least offset that against my tax, right? It's just a way, we can just test lots of samples. I always had this idea of, I want to go into longevity supplements. Like, that's what I really, really wanted to do. I think that's a massive market moving forwards, and there's going to be a lot of money put into it over the next few years. So I thought, I want to be in that space. So I don't know exactly how that's going to look.
Yeah.
I had this idea of element 5, because we think of 4 elements as like earth, air, water, fire, but the 5th being consciousness. And I think that's really what underpins every. We're going a bit woo-woo now, but whatever, right? we'll take you there. And I just thought, I really want something that to me means a little bit more. And there's a certain element of like poetic irony that at the beginning of the year, I lost my brother, what I believe too early in life. He was only 44 for a reason that should have been caught by a blood test, and it should have not have happened.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, launching a brand that tries to help people live longer and more healthier. I think there's like a kind of subtle irony to that, which or maybe I think my partner said it's grief with the business plan. I thought, yeah, okay, maybe you're right. So that's kind of where it stemmed from. The immediate thought is, okay, launch it on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Just put it on Amazon. Like I've got the team to do that. I know it's what we know, but if you know what it's like, you do the same thing over and over and over again. It's boring, right? I've been talking about this stuff for years and years and years. Unfortunately, as much as working something out new on Amazon can be interesting, on the whole, I'm just bored with it. I'm bored.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same principles. And I think you were in that mind space of you don't want to do anything like that. You want to do something that's really, because you're probably struggling to wake up with that type of mindset anyway. So you're like, why would I do Amazon? I want to do something new, something challenging, something more exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want a challenge, right? Yeah. And so I thought, well, what would be the challenge? Like TikTok. TikTok, we know there's a ton of traffic going through there, a lot of people making a lot of money, but I had only sold a few things on there. Like Amazon was the main thing, and I used TikTok a little bit to try and like figure out how it worked and to do multi-channel fulfillment through it and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, no, let's go all in on TikTok and just figure it out. And with not the goal of let's make this really big company, let's have the goal of let's learn how this actually works in real life, and then I can get that out to the world, and might be able to help someone. So that was the plan, at least, is just make a ton of mistakes and just see what we can break to see what can work. So then we started selling at the very, very end of 2024. So literally like mid-December. And within 2 months, I think it was, we became one of the best sellers in that niche. And with 4 months, we hit a 7-figure run rate. I think in April, we did like 111,000 or something like that. And it was just like, when you're doing e-commerce, the biggest problem that happens is stock, money. And it was like crazy, right? Going from like, I don't know, we probably put in under 15,000 in December. And then we're, ramping up like crazy. I had no idea that TikTok would have that much traffic and that many people buying it. I had absolutely no idea. So it was a really big shock. And then from that, it's just learning how it works. And I think it's a good marketplace. They obviously, like Amazon, they have problems.
Of course.
But yeah, it's been a very big learning opportunity. And I think we've cracked something. As to what it is, that's maybe we don't exactly know yet. But literally in the next few weeks, we're launching into the US.
Nice. So that's going to be
our own brand to ourselves in the US, and then we're going to try and see if we can do something similar there. But again, that might not work. But at least we're going to learn a lot by doing it.
And the US is an insane market. The size of the US market is just, I don't, if you never sold on in the US, I don't think you understand how much bigger it is. It's like Europe.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we worked it out based on some initial numbers that for this, like for our main product, it could be about 50 times bigger.
Wow, I'm sure. I mean, if anyone is ever looking up the US market, if you have Helium 10, go to the bestseller in the UK and the bestseller in the US for the same niche and look at the difference. It's big.
Crazy. It's like scarily crazy. I guess that people always ask me, should I launch in the US or the UK first? My personal belief is still the UK because
100%.
It's just the barrier to entry is lower.
Especially if you stay in the UK. If you stay in the UK, it's much easier. You understand the market, you understand the people, you understand them. And if you're launching the US undercapitalized, I mean, it's more expensive. Yes, the market is big, but PPC is more expensive many times as well because there's so many people. Cost per click is much higher. So yeah, it's a bigger market, but there's a lot more brands with a lot more funding. There's a lot of private equity in the US compared to the UK. Like big brands are there that are spending a couple of million a month, and it's nothing for them. You're going there with a couple of thousands, thinking it's a different market. I would launch in the US if you're established in the UK. That's the way I would do it.
I think I've seen loads of people, do that and really struggle. It's just different. So the way that we're looking at it is that it's a new venture.
Mm-hmm.
It's not we're trying to expand on what we've got. It's let's do something new, because it's what, just like when we sell on Amazon, you do market research on what's there already, and then
Exactly.
you do something that's different to stand out from the norm, and that's how you get that attention. That's exactly what we did on TikTok, but rather than images, we did it with video. Like, what's the
Yes.
video? What's the hooks that are happening in this niche? Once you get in the algorithm, cool. If they're zigging, let's zag.
And
Let's
were
do
you
something
doing
a
the
little.
videos, or were you getting a lot of affiliates doing the videos?
At the start, I did the videos, and I still do the videos. Actually, I enjoy doing it. I've been on obviously social media for years and years and years,
Of
so
course.
it's not it's not hard to just pick up the phone and do something. But I was very aware that the way that we're going to stand out is content,
Yeah.
and like, is the company a supplement company? No, it's not, and at this stage, at least. Yes, we sell supplements, but actually, we're a content company. We
Mm,
create content, and that content is monetized through supplements, which is a
that's very good
weird
point.
way of looking at
No, I think it's a
it.
very
So,
good point. And I think TikTok, in my opinion, it's a content selling. It's very different than Amazon, right? Amazon is more catalog. You search something, you find something great. TikTok, it's a lot more content heavy. So that's why
mhm.
there's a big edge. If you understand content, how to do videos, how to do UGC, but not UGC in the ads way, actually UGC, I'm trying to sell it live type of way. I think
Yeah.
that's where the potential is. But it's difficult to get because you know yourself, you might do 5 videos that crushed before, now they're not crushing the same. So it's a lot of
Oh,
volume as well, in my opinion.
yeah, because you can have a video. Like, we've got affiliates that will do videos that are basically very similar.
Yeah.
Like, they'll do one, it'll be very similar to the next one, very similar, and one of them just like bangs hundreds of thousands of views, a million views, and one of them does like 200. I mean,
No
there's
particular
sometimes
reason. Yeah.
no reason. It just, that one got picked up. And we have videos as well that have done a huge number of views, but they are awful videos. They're terrible. I mean, they're really, really bad. So it's like, yes, you just need to churn and just get it out there, but really think, well, from the customer's perspective, what's going to make them watch or click? Like,
Yeah.
what are you incentivizing them with? So it's just a different way of looking at it to Amazon, but the actual fundamentals
It's
are
the same
exactly.
principle.
It's
Instead of
it's
a main
exactly.
image, you're doing a main video. It's the same principle to a certain extent. Now, what is the
Yeah.
goal for with Element 5? Are you trying to like make it the biggest possible? Are you trying to exit? Are you trying both, or is you're just having fun and seeing where it can go?
I mean, a little bit of everything. Yeah, certainly, having fun, seeing where it will go is always fun. We want to release more products, and at the end of the day, like, we're coming out with one, maybe this week, next week, hopefully, by
Okay.
Black Friday. We'll launch it on Black Friday or Thursday at least, and that could be another, obviously, massive stream for us. Um, Ultimately, I do think that the selling will eventually happen in maybe 4 5 years.
Hmm.
Um, we'd like to get a foothold in definitely the UK and the US market. If we can get into EU, even
Yeah.
though, I mean, right now, I don't really want to do that, just because of you having to register in a ton of different places,
Yeah.
the nightmare of selling in loads of
Accounting
different
wise, a
markets.
nightmare. Yeah.
It's just a bit of a nightmare. Whereas, at least in two marketplaces like the US and the UK, we can kind of do that. Even if we go to Japan, actually, like,
Yeah.
Japan would be a great market
Well,
to just
Japan is
one.
huge, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think if we can get a bit of global exposure, have a really nice product lineup that's not too many SKUs, it's just the ones that are really banging
Mhm.
and doing well. And ultimately, yeah, I mean, selling a business is the goal, right? It's that's the real goal. So that would be, yeah, that's it. That's what we want to do. But have fun, build it at the same time, and share what I can. Like, I've always been in the position of, I like sharing information. I
Yeah.
like education. Like, even in my professional, like, career prior to
Hmm.
entrepreneurship, I was training people.
Of course.
So it's something that I have a natural affinity to, and I want to share what we're working on, because, one, that will allow me to get PR for my company,
Yeah.
right, for Element 5. And I think now, going forward, for all brand owners, I really do believe they need to get in front of their brands.
100%.
And it's no longer a case that you can just hide behind the scenes and it grow to something. I mean, it can, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think it's better to get in front of it so you can get content out there that can give you free exposure. Like, TikTok is free,
Yeah.
YouTube is free, Pinterest is free, Facebook is free, Instagram is free. It's free, and it won't be a case that those things are free forever. With AI, with We're probably going to have in glasses rather than phones at some point. This stuff is going to disappear at some point. So it's like we should be taking advantage of all of the different ways to get out there. And when you have founder content, look at the people that get featured in like newspapers and articles and get wide exposure. They're not hiding behind the scenes. They're putting their name out there. They're showcasing what's going on in their business, better or for worse, because they know that has equity, that has value in that.
And I think if you study the private label slash product market the last 20 to 30 years, it's very different, because I think a lot of people are making the mistakes of seeing someone like L'Oreal, seeing someone like Coca-Cola. They have been built 100 years ago. And they think that's the way to build it. I don't think that's the modern way to build it. Look at someone like Gymshark, someone like Sour Stripes by Max. And those are literally founder-led brands that are doing insane numbers. And those are the new private label, the new brands. That's the new school, because I think that's the competitive edge you have against someone like L'Oreal and Coca-Cola, because budget, you cannot beat them. Product and economics, you cannot beat them, but you can beat them on these creative things, because they're not as good, they're not as fast, they don't understand the customer as well as you understand it. So I think you're right. Founder-led content, people who actually are showing their product, how you explain the story of why you started and how it's different from everything else you started. I think that's the biggest difference and the biggest advantage you have, because your marketing is going to work better, your PPC, everything is going to be working better if people trust your brand. And you probably know, in the Amazon space, in the e-commerce space, everyone is afraid a lot of people are afraid to reveal their brand, which is a very low level mentality, because if you do well, they're going to copy you.
I did this years ago with a water bottle brand. And the reason I did it is because I wanted to show people the entire process, right? It was a YouTube series that I did where I was like, this is the product, this is what I'm doing, this is it launching, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, a few people did try to copy it, but they couldn't get it quite like right. And what I think with the founder-led content, the reason why it's so important is that no one can actually be you. Exactly. They can copy what you say, how you say it, but they're never going to have that same, they're never going to be you. And our customers come to us, and that we get told this again and again and again and again, is because I'm accountable. Yeah. And if there's a problem with our product, like my face and my name is on it, and they can come and hunt me down if they really want to. And so therefore, I'm not willing to do the things that a lot of supplement companies would do. And if you know a lot about this market, it's a dirty industry.
Well,
it's because there's no ability.
I have direct experience because we manage a good amount of supplement brands, and we've had some interesting experience, to say the least. I mean, you've been on YouTube, you know what's happening out there. It's an interesting place, and I get it, right? And sometimes it's not their fault; they haven't done their due diligence. But I say, well, right? I know. That's what they're gonna say.
Let me show you. I've actually just done a video about this, right? So I happen to have all of them in front of me, right? These are the certificates that we share publicly, right? One is a technical specification of the actual product, raw material, which we get from a supplier, which we've just letterheaded it. A certificate of composition from our manufacturer once it's encapsulated and bottled, which is also lab tested at that point. Further lab testing to prove that it is what it says it is, and then even more lab testing for like contaminants. So there's I think in this stage, there's 4 different type of lab reports. And we don't have to do all of them. And we definitely don't have to share all of this stuff. And that's, if I'm going to take it, if I'm going to put my name to it, I need to make sure this stuff is like here. Because if it's not, it's my name. And then the other thing we did, which is I think so important, and I wonder if I've got these to hand as well. And if you're ever doing supplements, feel free to just do this, because it does work. But any product, I think if you're doing a hair product, if you're doing anything that you're using it, use the damn product. So our main product is called NMN. It's something that helps, or supposed to help increase your NAD level. It's not a medical claim, guys. Don't listen. But anyway, I tested my blood results before and after taking the product. Yeah. So I could say before, here's my blood results. After, here's my blood results. So I can show, not just say that it is. I can actually show that I'm practicing what I preach. I'm taking the actual stuff, and that for me at least, it worked, or it provided the result that I was looking for. This is why it pays to go. So this stuff costs money, right? These lab tests and obviously having the actual product.
And it takes more time.
It takes more. It's a pain in the ass, frankly. But it means that we see people come into our space and they, I mean, I wouldn't make any claims about them, but a little bit like questionable. I just think, cool, you do you. You're probably not going to be around for very long, because if you're shortcutting here, then you're probably going to make shortcuts elsewhere, which will kind of shoot yourself in the foot.
Well, it's a money
And
play for them.
exactly, and people do this all the time, and it's very easy to get wrapped on it. It's very easy for us not to do lab tests. It's very easy for us to get a subpar product.
Of course,
Like, it's super easy. The same thing with like any private label products that you look at on Amazon. It's so easy to go with the first one of the three suppliers that you go with,
course, yeah.
but it's a lot harder to approach 50, 100 suppliers or whatever it's going to be, and really actually find the right one and delay your launch until you found the right product that doesn't break when you try and pull it apart, right? I can, like, I'm working with a company at the moment, part of my academy, and they do a running vest. And you think normal private label products, you think, yeah, loads of people do this. Not these guys, right? They have gone down and they've stress tested this stuff for like a year to find what would be the perfect combination. Everything's custom made. And they even get to the point where like they will run down the street after someone that they find running and say, they'll say, try this. And like, let us know. I'm like, this is, I said to them, you need to record this stuff and make content out of it, because this is amazing. They are finding random people running after them in the street and asking them to try their product. And I'm like, you guys, like that attention to detail will make them successful. Even if it's not with that product,
For sure.
they will be successful because they're doing the thing that is hard rather than the thing that is easy and cutting a load of corners. And I think going back to your kind of the first thing we started talking about, is like, what's the future? What's going to happen? It's taking that attention to detail. Because back in 2017, I mean, you didn't need to have that attention to detail. People would just buy it anyway. Now you definitely do, especially with like social commerce. People can make a video and you could literally ruin your business overnight if you're doing
the e-commerce market has completely changed, because 2017-16, the retail was still the dominant force. Like, people were still buying. There was still a certain level of it. You couldn't believe really that buying online is the same quality as retail, and now it's the opposite. People buy online a lot more, so the market is matured. It's very different. It's much bigger. If you look at the numbers in 2017 and now, it's like, it's different. It's so different. It's like 10-20x. Of course, the pandemic helped, but now the most legit place and the safest place is online, because I know the reviews on Amazon are real. I know that the reviews that people are making on video, most of them are real, and if something happens, I'll get a refund. So there's literally no risk. So the market has changed. And I do believe that, for me, the best clients I've ever worked with and the people who makes the biggest sales profit, whatever that is, it's always people who are obsessed about the product. It's never the people who understand the marketing side, because that's a part, but you can always find someone who understands that part. But it's always people who are obsessed about the product, understand the customer and market fit extremely well, and are just obsessed about having the best product, even if the margin is not the highest. This is what I found in my experience.
I think that's a very, very, very good point. Like, you might be able to, in the short term, make some money with something if you have some good marketing, but long term, that product's going to catch up with you, right?
100%.
And that, the reviews will come. And even though that a lot of reviewers, they can be a bit harsh sometimes.
True.
If
100%.
it's the law of large numbers. If it's a bad product, eventually the numbers will add up and tell you that. Something I do think is quite interesting at the moment is Temu, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Automatically, you think Temu, low quality, bad, cheap.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That's changing. Like, we launched on Temu just to, again, see what happens. We're already in like the top 20, like, supplements.
Oh, yeah.
And I've wanted it still, but
Temu is a crazy market. The thing with Temu is the branding is not there yet, right? If you ask the average person, they think Temu low quality Shane's type of product. But there's a lot of UK sellers and brands selling on Temu right now, sending it next day. It's like Amazon, but the branding is not there yet. That's the only thing. Branding of Temu is not there yet.
Imagine you could go back to 2014, 2014 on Amazon, right? Imagine you were teleported back there right now. You'd be like, I'm launching every single product I can possibly conceive of, because they're probably all going to do well. Whereas Temu, yes, it has this connotation of it's cheap, shipped from China, it's going to break. However, like, there's UK badges. There's like
Exactly.
you can put on your listing if it's made in the UK.
Yeah.
You could have something in there. You could have sent from the UK as well,
Mhm.
so that
Mhm.
people don't think that it's being sent from China.
Yeah.
And I think
It's a big
there is a
opportunity.
lot of search and demand that goes through Temu as a platform, but there is a very very low quality of seller.
Which
So
is great for someone who's putting a high quality product because you're standing out extremely well and you're owning a market share because there's not as many brands on Amazon. So as you said, if you're on Temu and you're like the one that's standing out in reviews, images, and quality, you're like, okay, what is this person doing here? Let me buy it. And their
yeah,
pricing
and
model and the way they're structured. Yeah.
they are different buyers. Like someone that
Yeah.
goes to Amazon, they're just not shopping on Temu. So it's not like you're going, well, people are going to see that I'm on Temu. And, like no one's going to care, right? If unless you're a ginormous, huge brand,
Yeah.
like maybe fair enough. But for most small to medium sized businesses, that it's just not the same customer. It's not the same customer that goes to TikTok that goes to your website. They're different groups of
Exactly.
people,
Exactly.
and I think what you could even do if you're worried about it, go to your supplier, get a sub brand made. So the
Yeah.
same product under a sub brand of your company and list it on Team. You've already got the supply chain, you can test it out. I think that's something to be explored for the next couple of years or so.
I think if you're a brand and if you have the capacity and the stock and some capital, you should be on absolutely every platform possible, even eBay, as bad as that sounds, because it's free distribution. Temu, if you get 100 orders per day, 20 orders a day, it's free distribution. And the way Temu is priced, you know yourself, they kind of establish the price and you have a margin that they, so it's a bit different, right? TikTok shop, if you can handle it logistically, because many brands can, but if you can, it's an extra marketplace. If you want to
Mhm.
exit your brand, when a private equity company comes, they're going to say, okay, you have 5 marketplaces, they're doing well. It's only positives. And if it doesn't work, you just pull it. It's as simple as that.
It's not a big deal. Yeah, I think with even with I think we're more profitable on Temu,
I
and
wouldn't
the
be
price
surprised.
is a lot lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think now maybe that's changed over the last few days because they have an ads platform now,
Yeah.
whereas previously they didn't. I don't
Well,
know.
I think if you study, sorry to interrupt, if you study every platform when they come out, they're very similar in the way they're super aggressive at the beginning, having almost no fees, having like the benefits are great. Similar to TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop at one point was like pretty much no fees. Now it's becoming similar to Amazon. It's still lower, but it's not what it used to be. Remember, 3 months no fees, then it was 5%, now it's 10%, now it's going up. So every platform at the beginning, it's super aggressive, and that's why there's so much you can do just because of that.
Yeah, and I think that there's always going to be another one that comes up. The Jeep, shopping in ChatGPT
Yeah,
or Perplex or whatever it's going to be. Like those things, I might look at them now and go, do I really want to put resources into to trying to get our stuff onto AI stuff? Like maybe right now we won't get much from it,
yeah,
but in 6 months' time, in a year's time, we'll probably thank ourselves for optimizing for that
true.
type of buying experience. Because like if I look at myself now, I don't go on Google. I just don't do it. I go onto GPT and I
Mhm.
ask questions. And I get it to find me the link of the website
Yeah,
if I need to try and find something. So it's a matter of time before that shifts as well. And maybe
mhm.
we do move away from TikTok and Amazon and Temu and Etsy and Facebook, whatever, and it's all done in GPTs. But I think in the meantime, it's like make pay while the sun shines, right? If Temu are offering some really good deals, go with them. Like TikTok is still incredible for fulfillment. I mean,
Of course.
it's really, really cheap. So it just makes sense that if you are selling there, that you use fulfilled by TikTok if your margins
Mhm.
allow for it. Obviously, you don't have your own warehouse or something, rather than using Amazon's fulfillment and doing multi-channel fulfillment. Yes, you
Yeah,
can test it, right? Which is quite a nice thing that obviously brands can do, test
exactly.
their TikTok with Amazon fulfillment, but then move that stuff over and get the free stuff,
Yeah.
lower your prices if you want to, or make more money.
Mhm.
Um, I guess the problem that a lot of sellers will have is that like something like Amazon is not a part-time,
No,
like you need to be on it all the time because everything's changing constantly. The good thing about Amazon is that they give you a huge amount of data. And yes,
true.
sometimes we want more, but they really do give a huge amount of
Mhm.
data, particularly obviously with brand analytics. What we found on TikTok, and you'll attest to this, you don't have as much data and
Not even
understanding.
close. Yeah,
It's nothing. So like what we've had to do, especially coming from the Amazon background, going like you have all of this data that you can get like very, very quickly.
Yeah.
You have to manually do it with TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a competitive advantage. So I know on every single day exactly how many my competitors have sold.
Yeah.
And I know if they've changed images, if they've what they've done, I know about it because we're tracking it like literally physically a human doing it. And the point here is like on Amazon, you can get your search query performance report on a weekly
Yeah.
basis and you can find out what's going on and you can make changes and adjust accordingly and test stuff. TikTok, you can't really do that with good
No.
data unless you're tracking it. So my recommendation for anyone that is currently in the Amazon space and looking to move to TikTok as another marketplace is get very good at tracking, particularly competitors, deals, pricing, stock, all that sort of stuff. Because then I personally think that is a competitive advantage because there aren't tools available for it. It's hard for brands to do it, and a lot of the time, TikTok isn't their primary platform.
True.
It's
Most of the
secondary.
time.
Exactly. Yeah, most of the time. Yeah. So they're not going to be looking at these details. They're just really not going to be looking at it. And then that's your competitive advantage. You have some good content, you're standing out, and you know the data, you know the figures of what's going on in the background. I do believe that's a real way where you can stand out quite easily.
100% agree. I think where you dedicate the most time is where you're going to do the best. Because a perfect example is if you look on a lot of the categories, the best sellers on Amazon are not the biggest brands. They're the people who actually
Yeah.
invest the most on Amazon and understand Amazon the best, which is crazy because they have much less capital. It's same with TikTok Shop. Like, yes, L'Oreal is doing well, but many times there are other brands out competing it, which is crazy because these brands are like 2, 3, 4 years old, and L'Oreal is like whatever how old you and plus has billions and so on and so forth. So you can outperform them in there. Have you thought about
Yeah.
going to retail?
Yes and no. I think like right now, for example, it would probably be a bad business decision
Yeah,
for us to get into retail right now. Just because if that does backfire, it'll be quite substantially damaging.
of course.
Um, so, I mean, the US is the big investment, so we'll see how that goes first. I think I'm not sure about retail for like these products. I'm just not sure that they're going to be around in retail forever.
Yeah,
I don't think I could don't go. Do you know what? I really want to go to Holland and Barrett. I just don't think that that's
yeah,
going to happen. Um, I do think with retail, I mean, it's a slippery slope that we see declining year on
agree.
year. There's obviously going to be a lot better AI tools for trying on clothes without
Yeah,
going to a store, better returns processes. So I don't think that's completely dead yet, but I think the majority of products that aren't gifts, basically, um, are probably always going to be better online. So I would be hesitant to get into a retail space unless it was very favourable towards us as a brand,
yeah,
in which
yeah.
case, sure, why not? Um, the other thing I was going to say about TikTok, I can't remember what I was going to say about it. Doesn't matter, but yeah, I don't think so for us. And again, unless someone wants to buy a ton of us and then not have any repercussions if they don't sell it, then we're good.
So right now for Element 5 is your biggest platform TikTok Shop and then Amazon, and then how is it structured for you right now?
We are not on Amazon.
Oh, how dare you?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two reasons for that actually. One is our main product is compliance. We actually can't sell it on Amazon UK. So
Mm,
they use EU rules where there is a compliance which we just don't have it.
yeah.
So because they do that, we actually can't list the product legally. There are people that sell it, but we're not getting involved with that whatsoever because they're skirting the Amazon rules. And obviously, I know, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, and you can
No,
get your whole account shut down, and you can just be absolutely
easily.
screwed.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that. However, in I don't know, the next few months, maybe, hopefully by next year, maybe it'll be early next year, there should be an Amazon unlock that we're getting. So we should be able to have the compliance to be able to get through that in the EU as well as Amazon UK.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's the more that we are building this brand, the
Yeah.
more we understand how much the video content is important and
Mhm.
that connection to the customer. Amazon doesn't have that as much. So I
True.
think for us, it will more be a way of down funnel attribution rather than a primary sales.
Exactly. I think it's going to be spillover traffic. You do because you're already getting search terms. It's just you go on Amazon, you get a ton of organic sales because there's for sure people searching for your. I've searched on your products on Amazon as well, so there's a lot of people searching. So it's going to be a
Yeah,
lot of spillover traffic.
yeah. I think it's a good idea to be there, but yeah, we are kind of hands tied by that right now. US is going to be a different US. We can do it, which is fantastic. And obviously, if we wanted to go to like Germany or something, we just need to wait for the compliance to basically get ticked off. It's an application for something called a novel food in the EU, and we're just essentially waiting for that. And if that happens, we are good, basically good to go. But I'm not counting on it. So all the things we're doing are operating as if it's not going to happen. We do have like the product that we're bringing out in a couple of weeks. We can put that on Amazon,
That's good.
but at the same time, like we know that we can shift it quicker on TikTok.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's let's get it on our own website, validate that works, and we can make it profitable. Get it on the website, get it through to the email list, and then eventually it's like right now let's get it onto Amazon, eBay, Temu. Even like I haven't done this, but Shein, I think you can get stuff onto.
Yeah, I think so.
Just get it, out there onto wholesale websites if we want to go down that route. So yeah, I do think of it like the fingers in many pies, but also because we've got that experience within Amazon, like between myself and Jack, our co-founder, I think we've got something like 17, 18 years of experience between us on Amazon. Because he was actually in the Amazon space well before me.
Wow.
And so there's a huge amount of experience and pain, I think, is probably the right way to say it. We know that if we are on Amazon, it's not something where it's not like eBay where you just list it and just kind of let it fly. It's a completely
work.
It's a lot more work. Obviously, that can give you a huge amount in return, but I don't think it's definitely not a set and forget. Like Temu is a bit kind of like that. eBay is a bit like set and forget.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely not Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I think in TikTok as well is definitely not a set and forget. As you know, TikTok is very hungry for new stuff and new content and new discounts and new price discounts and offers. I mean, people don't realize how much ongoing work is involved in TikTok. Like it's an insane amount. And the drops and how sometimes you spike, sometimes you have drops. What I've seen at Amazon many times is more consistent. TikTok, you can have a day that you're flying and then it's another day that like what's happening. It's very different.
Oh yeah, and that screws you up. Like I mean, it really does. Yeah, because obviously, if you're managing your cash flow, especially in a growing business, you're really managing that cash flow and that stock. And I know, like in X amount of days, I've got stock coming in, and it ain't going to come any sooner than that. So if one video bangs, right, and we sell out, yes, you can make that into a marketing thing, right? But also, like Amazon, when you're out of stock, it is not good. The algorithms are kind of the same. If you're on the down, like you're going to get downgraded in the ranking. Same with Amazon. Once you're going down, you're sinking. So
how big is the team right now in Element 5?
Cool. Small. So there's me. I'm in charge of like what it looks like and the feeling of the brand, right? Imagery. I do conversion. I obviously do the marketing. I do no numbers or real operations, right? That's not my strong suit. My strong suit is not in a spreadsheet. It's on like doing some graphics or doing a video or something like that. So it's me. And then the co-founder, Jack, he does all the operations. He's like and he wouldn't mind me saying this, he's the nerd, right? That loves a pivot table and, really getting dirty with the numbers. Like that's his foreplay. He loves that. So he's amazing at that, all the compliance and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to the US. He's dealing with all the FDA stuff. I'm like, thank you for doing that. And then we have two, I guess you can call them VAs, but I've worked with them for years. And I wouldn't class them necessarily as a VA. I've worked with them for years and years and years. One of them used to actually work at Amazon for 5 years, worked with me for 5 years, like on my brands and also many of my like students' brands as well. So she does like the day-to-day ticking boxes and doing data and all that sort of stuff on platform. So she'll do stuff like on TikTok. We do have stuff on Amazon as well, like with some other projects that still quite aren't dead yet. So she does all of that. Like we are constantly raising, like if TikTok came to us and said, "What's wrong? You keep raising like all these tickets." I'm like, "Yeah, well, we found errors." And it's just because she is doing it every single day. If we find something that's wrong, I'm getting reimbursed for that. And like you've got Getida and stuff like that to do reimbursements on that. It doesn't exist for TikTok, but they make a lot of mistakes. And because we know that from Amazon, we go, cool, implement that system that we know on Amazon, do it for TikTok. And TikTok, I probably didn't like it. They're like, oh, we have to give this money back. And then we've got one other person, customer service. for our website and for TikTok as well. Because, for example, Anne, who does all the nuts and bolts, very, very technically minded, incredible at what she does. And then Chow, she's like incredible at customer service and just getting what someone's actually wanting. Now, the really important thing here is that when people sometimes think, oh, you're using VAs, like, no, these people are incentivized in the growth of the business. And they're treated not as a VA but as the team member. It's just because they're not in the country that people sometimes think this. And I did a talk recently at the White Label Expo where I was saying, like, get your team incentivized in the growth of the business. If that's profit share, if it's if they turn a 2-star review into a 5-star review, what are you giving them because of that? Because that's valuable to you. So that's the core team, and then obviously we have like bookkeepers and lawyers and blah blah blah, blah, all that kind of like freelancer stuff.
I think that's definitely the future of e-commerce is very good teams, small teams, lean teams that
Yeah,
really understand. I honestly believe I've seen it. 3 to 4 people can have a 10 million a year brand easily.
yeah. We won't need to hire anyone. I'm very very sure about that. That we are at we will not need any more people, because if you look at AI agents, this is one thing that we're really trying to get to grips to on the moment with like NAN and all that sort of stuff. Is going, cool. How do we get all of the content from TikTok transcribed? We know all the comments of all of the competitors of everything in our niche,
Mhm.
and that pulls in every single day and then suggests content for us and for our affiliates to make. Like, that's a lot of work for one person to do. It's nearly a full-time job. Whereas that can be done within like 15 minutes with an automated click, right?
Mhm.
And even the jobs that I'm doing on a daily basis that Jack might be doing, or Chow or I am, we are looking to replace those, but it's not going to be replacing them. It will be replacing the donkey work, so
Yeah,
that they can free up
for
their
higher leverage
excellent.
work. Yeah,
Exactly, so they can figure out better processes. Like, what else can we do? Because there's always going to be a element of growth, and there's always going to be new tools. So using those resources and those people, which who are excellent people, to then figure out how we can then be a step ahead
yeah,
from yesterday,
exactly.
and a step ahead from the competition as well. But yeah, definitely the AI stuff is absolutely, it's incredibly game changing. So that, and I think this is another competitive advantage. If we kind of, there's been a little bit of a theme today, is that if you look at big brands,
Yeah,
they might have people actually on payroll, which are very
yeah,
hard to get rid of, right?
of
Um,
course.
and their costs could be so incredibly high. A lot of businesses fail just because their costs are so high, and they
Mhm.
have a few bad months, and then they're dead,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
gone, and they've got big debts to pay, and they could kill a business. I think now we're going to this space where if you're starting up and you're still small, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 people, I don't think you need to grow much bigger from a standpoint of doing things on a computer.
yeah,
Obviously, moving things, yeah,
of course.
absolutely. But even that,
Even
two
that
years
can.
time, robots going to do that for you.
Well, yeah, exactly right. And even if you look at the biggest warehouses, they still have a lot of people, and they will have people, but it's getting a lot of it is getting automatic. It's always the same thing, right? Before there used to be the people who worked on horses and stuff like that. Then then something came out, a machine, a car, whatever came out, they didn't do it.
Mm.
It's always the same with technology. It's moving very fast. I think AI, if used correctly, it's a huge advantage. Still, whatever the AI right now, 2025, if you're not good at giving it inputs, it's going to be bad. If you don't understand anything about Amazon, you ask ChatGPT to do something for you, it's going to be bad inputs. AI is only as good as your inputs, at least so far, right? That might change, but you still need a person to operate it. I think a lot of the data and analytics, a lot of the, as you say, donkey work is going to be removed, so you can do higher leverage work. And I also think people like plumbers, construction workers are going to do even better than they're doing now, because everyone wants to be behind the office and do homework, but a lot of it is not valuable. So strategy is going to be more valuable. Content is going to be more valuable. I think AI content will make content even more valuable because it's not going to be the same quality for a long time. So I think AI will create a lot of opportunities, and people will swing back a bit. Like events, in my opinion, the next 4 to 5 years will explode even more. Human connection will explode even more because people are actually wanting that
Mm-hmm.
more than
Yeah,
ever. Or at least that's what
I
I'm seeing.
agree with you. I completely agree, and that's actually a core fundamental part of our like business plan is community and business, because we've seen, particularly with creators, how badly treated they are,
Mhm.
and they're
Oh
just
yeah.
literally treated like you do a video for us and then we'll forget that you ever exist, even if you make us loads of money.
Yeah.
And that definitely needs. We've had our creators. I took some of them for lunch the other day, and they're like, "We've made hundreds of thousands of pounds for other brands, and no one's ever asked us to lunch."
Crazy.
Okay, cool, right. We need to keep doing this. Like, we need to find ways to do this, but better, and make sure that it's time efficient and also like financially efficient as well. So I think if it's Amazon is different kettle of fish, but even if you've got people doing review videos for you, with the influencer program, like if they're doing it and you can see they're getting views and stuff like that, like take them out for lunch, send them a card, like get their information and just send them a thank you letter. Because if that's helping the conversion on your listing, like just send them a little thank you, because they might make another one that's even better, and they might do some more of your products. They might do it for free. Right? Rather than have to like, hey, can you do it for 50 quid or 100 quid? Can you do us another video? Like that I was taught this by a guy called Ed J.C. Smith. So he was, he's in like the coaching space for years and years and years and years and years. And he he's a friend of mine now, but originally I looked at him, I was like, oh my God, how did you know all this stuff? And he told me very, very early on, and I didn't really get it until later. He was like, you need to cultivate relationship capital. The most important asset of your business is always going to be the relationship capital. So think of it like every time you build a relationship with someone or you help someone out, that you're depositing into your bank, right? Of capital reserve of relationship. You don't pull from that bank. You just keep building and building and building. And then at some point in time, you're going to be like, oh, do you know what? Like, you know what I need? I need this particular thing. I know that person that's really good at that. And yes, you're kind of pulling from that bank, but it doesn't feel like you're asking a favor from someone. It's because you've got that relationship. And so, like, for example, this year, I've did a lot of work with, was it this year? Or end of last year and this year, I did a lot of work with Amazon. I helped start the Amazon Ads Educator program with them. I was the first person in the UK to do this, and it was honestly, it was the right place, right time. They didn't approach me; it was right place, right time. I had a conversation with one person at Amazon, and it just led down this route. And I started then thinking, well, I know all these other people in the industry, which they would be really good at this, so I can make some introductions. And a couple of times, people were like, well, what do you want? Like, what do you want in return? I was like, no, I don't want anything in return. And already in my mind, I was thinking, I'm kind of like, I'm going to get out of this at some point. I'm going to move on with like what I'm doing on Amazon. I thought, I don't know what it is, but this seems worth it right now. And then maybe in 3 years' time, there might be a time where I can ask them a favor. And they're going to be like, oh my God, yes, absolutely. Or not. But the point is to go into it with, I'm just going to keep adding into that bank account. I'm going to keep depositing into that. And I don't know exactly how it's going to show itself in the future, but I know it's probably a good idea.
It's definitely good karma, if not anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't remember who said it to me, but he said, well, does that mean that you're just being walked all over? Like,
no, absolutely not.
You're just giving. I was like, no, I completely don't see it that way. I do not expect anything in return from anyone. And actually, maybe it's because I've been burnt in the past with a business relationship from my best friend at the time, got burnt. And I think he was my best friend and I felt like betrayed.
Yeah.
If that can happen, it could happen with anyone. So I'm just not going to accept, I'm not going to think anyone's going to do anything for me. I'm just going to give. And hopefully one day that kind of comes back in good karma or, lowers my stress and my cortisol so I sleep and live longer. I don't know.
Why create enemies when you can create friends? And worst case scenario, they're going to buy your product because, oh, I like the guy. He's a genuine guy. His product should be good, right? Because if he's a good guy, so already that's something. So I think it's always a positive ROI on it, 100%, probably the most positive ROI. I think there was a saying, every problem has someone who can fix it. It's a person who fixes it. It's not something, but it's a person who can fix your problem. And I agree 100%. Relationships are invaluable. The biggest businesses, if you look at them, they're built by relationships.
Well, if you look at all like politicians, they're all mates, aren't they? Before at school, they're all friends.
Think of networking.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's like, what you said about events, right?
Yeah.
I've been to a few events and you're absolutely right. It's those conversations that you have in the hallway, or after a few drinks, they're the ones that, in fact, it's also sometimes not worth even going to the event for the content. You just go for actually meeting people and having a conversation, because then you break down that barrier of just seeing each other on LinkedIn or on Instagram or something.
Exactly.
You go to meeting someone in person, and yeah, you're right. With the rise of AI and a lot of the content, or the things, not content, a lot of the things will be automated that take up my time in the day, and I have more time to go and spend on relationships and people, and actually seeing people face to face. Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's definitely the vibe, I think.
It's a big change. Last question for you. I don't want to keep you for too long. Where do you see Amazon specifically going and e-commerce specifically going the next couple of years? I don't want to say 5 years, because 5 years now is like 50, but a couple of years.
I mean, I've had a love-hate relationship with Amazon. It
Who
can be the
hasn't?
best thing at time, and oh my god, like it can be the most frustrating thing. I do think that they dropped the ball a little bit over the last few years. With fees, with the rise of TikTok, I think they're feeling the pain of that, definitely. However, they've got so much money that they ain't going anywhere, and it's only going to get better and better and better. So I see the area where it goes is that two things are valued. One is low cost, like your Temu, stuff, low cost stuff that is commodity based, getting at the cheapest price possible so that people can make their money go further. I think that's definitely one. So if you're in that market of selling toilet paper, good, right? Then the other side of that is brand and perceived quality, at least. Everyone in the middle, I think, is going to die a slow death.
Agreed.
And that includes big brands that don't move fast enough with their imagery. I think if you're not showcasing yourself to be as good as if it was on your own website, your own storefront online, if you're not doing that, you'll fall into the middle category, which I think will just die a slow death. It will be a more like cheap and good, basically, disparity on Amazon. In e-commerce as a whole, a lot more tricky. So right now, our ecosystem is we have a few big marketplaces, and we have this AI looming underneath us, which might be able to replicate some of these things that we use on a daily basis and do it better. And another one pops up straight away, right? So like Vine, for example, that was gone for years, and now it's back as Revine. That could completely take over TikTok. We have absolutely no idea, and TikTok dies. I think right now, for a brand owner, you've got to keep a close eye on the AI stuff, and just have it there ticking along in the background going, we're going to pay attention to this, we're going to put time into it, because it could completely change the way that people shop online, like how Amazon had changed the way that people shop online. It might just be just such a ginormous shift that we can't even perceive what that's going to be like. So I wouldn't want to be the brand that didn't look at that. And I think some of the big companies, maybe they won't be fast enough to act if that does happen. Whereas being agile, being able to make decisions quickly and get it done, I think that would be a massive advantage.
100%, I agree. I think you need to have the advantage of being small. You're faster, and you have your ear to the ground much better. Like bigger companies, they have 25 people. They need to get compliance for it to move. By the time they've made the decision, you probably switched 3 times. And yeah, this with the chat GPT and AI, it's a good point. It might, I mean, who thought Google would change the way people would buy it? Look at retail. Retail 20, 30 years ago was like, this will never change. And it didn't change for a long time. Same with Amazon. I mean, Amazon, the way everyone is on Amazon right now, in 5 years, it can change. Knowing Amazon, I wouldn't bet against them because they'll probably change with it. But you never know. That's why I think you should never be too loyal to a platform. You should go with the time. If the best opportunities on TikTok, go on TikTok. Especially if you're selling a product. If you're selling a product, you should be where most customers are. If now Amazon is the place, you should be on Amazon. And I think having more competition is much better, because if Amazon starts seeing numbers drop, market share drop, they're like, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if they lower fees because of that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally, yeah.
And that's good for everyone.
Yeah, because they want, at the end of the day, the seller is the person that is providing that asset to be able to be sold, where they can make the money off the PPC and the selling fees and the fulfillment fees and blah 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 blah. Like they do need us as much as they sometimes
doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it, but yeah, they absolutely do need us. And I do agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised that they start backtracking on maybe other fees and make it slightly more desirable. When you see TikTok, bringing all these fulfillment centers out in the US, particularly, you think, oh, well, where are the products? They're stealing customers from somewhere. Where are they coming from? Is it they're coming from retail, or are they coming from Amazon? I
Well,
mean,
exactly that, right? And that's why Timo and TikTok were so. I mean, Timo is still so aggressive. I mean, when we were selling, Timo was called me and said, "Oh, your product is good. We would like to have it on our platform." A person from Timo called me. That will never happen with Amazon because they're small. They're very hungry for market share. Same with TikTok Shop. They're super aggressive a year ago of no fees for the first 3 months because they want to get market share. But if you start losing market share, you kind of have to go back to that way. And if that happens, it's best for everyone.
I think it's a hard one because Amazon is so, and there's still so many people to bring to Amazon
Oh yeah,
still,
yeah,
that they're obviously they're going to be the most trusted source. They're
yeah,
more trusted than TikTok, obviously.
yeah.
So I think that's going to happen. The thing that actually, just the last thing I will say is that for working with Amazon for years and years and years, I never got invited to their headquarters to speak to them as a seller ever, right?
Yeah.
And it was only last year that I did. Before that, it was basically like you're on your own, raise a ticket. If you're stuck, screw you, basically. With TikTok, it was the second month. Yeah, we were invited to
Wow.
headquarters and spoke to people. Have like a group. Have like I don't know 7 people in a group that work at TikTok. If we've got any issues, we can contact them. They are much better at managing you as a seller and giving
Mhm.
you that access. They don't do it with everyone, granted, but they are much better at that. TikTok, not quite as. Timu also have a similar system,
Yeah,
but if you notice, Amazon have started doing this
yeah,
tail end of last year, this year. They've started to be a lot better at communicating with sellers.
mm,
And the conversations I was having with them behind the scenes was like, we know that people don't come to us when they need help. They go to YouTube, they go to LinkedIn, they go to an event, and they were like, why don't why don't people like us? I'm like, because you don't help us, right?
yeah.
They do not help us. But I can see they've made a conserved effort to do more events, to get in front of people, to create services where you can have an account manager and not
Mm,
be like a massive seller.
yeah.
Like those things have happened, and I think they've now realized that they need to treat sellers better if they're going to retain those sellers.
Agreed. Agreed. I think. Look, some things are getting worse, some things are getting better, but overall, things are, I think, taken in the right direction. And
I agree.
Amazon is a huge company, but the fact that they're listening to some people, and I've seen a lot
Mm.
more Amazon events in the last 2 years than I've seen in the last 7. That's for sure. Like, not even close.
Yeah, I mean the ones that we did with them, they rented out Nobu in London, and it's not. I mean, that's not cheap, right? Like 300 people there or something like that, and they had account managers there. I was like, that's a significant investment
Of
when
course.
we don't normally see that in the UK. Obviously, there's obviously the massive stuff that happens in the US,
Yeah.
but we don't normally see those sorts of events. And I know that that's a massive goal for them. So I say to all the people that I've worked with in the past, if you can get to these events,
Yeah. One hundred
get to,
percent.
get to the events, because you will meet someone from Amazon that actually might
Yeah.
help you
Yeah.
and be able to. You get their email address. Oh my god, an email address from someone at Amazon. Oh my god,
Crazy.
isn't that like seller performance team? Go there, speak to them. A lot of this time, these events are free or in extremely low cost. Go and speak to Amazon and just start that relationship, because they want to build that relationship with sellers, and this is their way of doing it. So I think you have to get there
Agreed.
as soon as possible.
100%, Johnny. Johnny, it's been a great pleasure speaking with you. We'll definitely need to keep in touch. And thank you for everything you shared.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. And if anyone has any questions, they can feel free to find us. I mean, if anyone can fix my sign, that.
Yeah.
But feel free to reach out to me if you've got any questions. Open book. I'm happy to help absolutely everyone.
Amazing. Perfect. I really appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.